Welcome to For the Love of the Show. I am one of your hosts, Spurgeon. Right there with me is the one and the only, the man who inspired this book, or this show. My bad, good doctor. The man who inspired this show, the one and the only.
The good doctor.
So good doctor, we have a very special guest tonight. Do we not?
Yes. Yes,
And
we
would you like
do.
to introduce who our special guest is?
Yeah, so the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame is going to be holding their inductions on September, I think, is it 5th, Spurge? I'm pretty sure
It
that's what
is
I had.
September 5th, Thursday, September
September
5th,
5th,
sir.
Thursday night, September 5th. And tonight we have the executive director of the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame, Mr. Tim Moore.
Hi, guys.
Sir, thank you for joining us.
Sure. Glad to be here.
Yeah. So, Tim, thank you for joining us. It's a great honor to be talking to somebody distinguished as you. I think I've been doing this for a while, and I've never talked to an executive director of a sports Hall of Fame. I've talked to writers, never a director. How did you turn your love into sports to get to be the director of the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame?
Well, I was a high school basketball coach for 30 years. The last high school I was at was Webster Groves High School. I retired from there in 2005. And at that time, I became friends during my stay at Webster with a gentleman named Greg Marasek. I don't know if you guys know that name or not. He at one time owned KFNS radio. But one of his visions was to have a St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame. A lot of major cities have them and states have them. And Greg wanted to get this Hall of Fame started. So he spread the word around town, and he got Ron Jacober to help him out, and Myron Holtzman. Used to be the sports editor for the Globe at one time. And with the help of Anheuser-Busch, who contributed $150,000 to begin the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame, it took off and running in June of 2009.
Wow.
And Greg was the founder and president of the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame until September of 2020, when unfortunately he passed away.
Oh.
And I had been working with Greg on the Hall of Fame since 2010. I'm going on my 16th year of being associated with him. But when Greg passed away, the torch was naturally passed to me. I said there wouldn't be another president of the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame, so I gave myself a different title, executive director.
There you go. So you have the big event coming up on September 5th.
Yes.
So tell people what that event is actually going to entail.
Okay, well, this is probably about our 20th enshrinement dinner that we've held. And what we do is we have selected 10 or more honorees for each one of those enshrinements. And this one coming up on September 5th, we have 10 honorees. And one of the things that we make sure that we do is that they're from all areas of sports. We try to be as diverse as possible in who goes into the Hall of Fame. We can't have all baseball players or football players or coaches, etc. So we try to get a good mix of people who are going to be honored that night. And it's going to take place at the Downtown Missouri Athletic Club, which is a beautiful place to hold an event such as this. We will induct those 10 people into the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame. And when Greg passed away, we have a special award called the Greg Marasek Memorial Award. And the winner of that will be announced that night. So we're busily working for September the 5th, and we do everything we can to make it a great event for everyone involved.
Sounds very
How did-
interesting.
How does the selection process for the Hall of Fame work?
Well, we have an original list of over 200 names of past athletes, not just professional athletes, but from all areas, sport, high school, college. And then, as you guys, we mentioned earlier, I don't know if we were on yet, but you can nominate people who you think are qualified to be in the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame. You can go to our website, www.stlshof.com. That stands for St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame. And there's a nomination form on there. And since we have the nomination form on there, we've probably collected another 50 or so. And we encourage people that if you have a relative, a friend, a past acquaintance who you think could represent the St. Louis area as an inductee into the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame, we encourage you to do so.
No, Mr. Moore. So this is it's very interesting. You know, I know that we had question 3, but that was kind of how we started out with the show. So I'm not even going to bother with question 3 because we just made that kind of number 1. But like in the years that you've been doing this and with Greg and all that, what is do you have any particular memories of any particular ceremony that stands out to you over the last few years that you've done this?
Sure. One of the, besides doing enshrinements, we've also put on special events. One of those was Legends of the Dugout. And at the Legends of the Dugout, we had Whitey Herzog, Bobby Cox, and Tommy Lasorda. And
Wow.
the facilitator of the event was Bob Costas. And it was a great hour and a half after lunch of listening to these 3 of the most famous baseball coaches that have ever been around talk with each other, needle each other. And it was just a great show. And by the way, it was shown on KTVI TV, I think, also. I'm not sure if that's the right channel or not. So
Is that channel 11? Was that channel 11?
I hesitate to say because
Now you say Bob Costas. That was the one, Whitey Herzog, Bob Costas. Like, okay, let's get to, because I'm assuming you have an MC that does these events, right?
yes.
So, okay, what's your process? Just like your process of finding your Hall of Fame guys, what's your process of finding your MC? Like, how do you find the MC that you would love to use for your event?
Well, I'm sure I think are all familiar with Ron Jacober.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
He
sir.
was the sports editor for KSD TV. And he was our MC for a number of years. And Ron was on the ground floor of the development of the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame. So Ron did it up until a couple of years ago. Ron is in his early 80s right now, and he still participates with us, but he stepped back from the show. A ton of work for the guys who create the run of show and put it on. I mean, it is, well, in the environment you're in, that it takes a ton of work to do these things.
A lot of work.
Yeah. And Ron was perfect at it. He has such a recognizable voice. And when Ron stepped down, we had Tom Calhoun did it for a couple of our enshrinement.
Wow.
So, we've been fortunate there, and we put on a great show. I think I might be stepping ahead a little bit here, but one of the great things about our enshrinements now is the honorees do not give a speech. They are interviewed by a sports media person, local sports media person. One of the reasons we did that, because with the first 2 years that we did our enshrinements, we were getting out of the Millennium Hotel downstairs, the convention area, at about 11:30 to midnight. And we were inducting more people at that time. Some of our early classes had as many as 16. The original class had 24. So it was a long, long night. I think it took away from the dynamics of the show, and we decided we're going to cut down the number. I think it's made a lot better for those who attend.
Yeah.
Cool.
Mr. Ward, you actually answered one of our questions that we had for you is what's the whole specialness of how they give their speeches and, it's being interviewed. So you said that it took a while. So now that they're being interviewed, how long do you break those interviews up? Do you let the whole interview play, or is it just like a 10, 15-minute clip that you play of the video of the inductees, and do they have the questions beforehand?
We try to cap it at 10 minutes.
Okay.
If we really have a special guest, special honoree, like O.J. Anderson, OJ's hard to get off the stage because once he gets going, he's got some great stories to tell, and he's really a great guy on stage, and people love hearing what he has to say. So sometimes they run a little bit longer, but 7 to 10 minutes is what we like to hold it to. I think that's a good attention span for the people that are there.
Absolutely.
As you see with the good doctor, he thinks he's getting ready to ask a question, and I just go and cut him off before he gets to ask his question. So my attention span's like a squirrel. I see something and I just go, all right, good doctor, go on with your question.
All right. That's okay. I'm an educator as well, so I totally understand the getting cut off. I'm used to that by my students. But, looking over the website earlier, I noticed there's been 399 inductees so far. For instance, this year you're going to have Jay Blossom, area high school basketball coach, very well known in the St. Louis area. He's won 3 state titles and recently took over a Principia program that was really struggling. And I believe the first year he was there, he led them to a second place finish in state. Do you think in inducting gentlemen like Coach Blossom and other, coaches and athletes that may have had success in high school but are not professional, players or, professionally paid, in a professional league for coaching, do you think this induction is a little bit more special for some of these guys?
Well, I think it's special even for the professional athlete.
Sure.
But, somebody like Jay Blossom or Celeste Knierim, 2 that are on our list, they're very local people. And I think it is a special honor for them to go into the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame because a lot of people don't know how fantastic their resumes are.
Yeah.
If you attend one of the events and you hear the things that they've accomplished, the amount of work and effort they've put into the love of their particular career choice as a coach or player or administrator, it certainly does humble them. And, we could have never had a Sports Hall of Fame if our professional athletes didn't buy into it early. And they have. And I think it's a special honor for them also to be recognized by the city where they made their name.
Yeah, you mentioned Celeste. I don't think a lot of people realize what she has turned Notre Dame basketball into. I'm a huge Notre Dame fan myself, so I realize it. But we all know Notre Dame is known for their football throughout the years. But their women's program has become pretty much a powerhouse in college basketball thanks to her.
Yeah, I think you meant Coach Ivy from
Yes, I'm sorry.
from
I'm
Notre
sorry.
Dame.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
Yeah, she was a great high school player, a great college player. In fact, I think they won the national championship when she was a player for Notre Dame.
Yep.
And she's done a tremendous job building that program and maintaining it. And sometimes, there's a lot of people who in the metropolitan area probably have never heard the name Ivy as the coach
Right.
in Notre Dame before. And so
Right.
to bring these people forward and let people know who they are, it's really enlightening for that to happen.
So
I noticed.
Okay, go ahead.
You want me to take?
No, go ahead.
I noticed. Larry Hughes obviously has been inducted along with David Lee. Both of them had. I mean, as a former high school coach myself, I know they were both pretty much top tier high school players in the area. Is it safe to say that down the road we may see a Jason Tatum possibly or a Brad Beal going in as well?
I mean, surely you know the answer to that.
Yeah.
we just got Jason Tatum and both Bradley Beal are two of the greatest players that are in the NBA right now. And they're certainly worthy of being in the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame.
Absolutely.
So I would assume that one day they certainly will be.
Here's the thing that I've noticed, Tim, is that this just isn't about sports, about athletes. You said it. This is about people who have contributed to the St. Louis sports or just sports in general, for the area, and I see that, you got Randy Character and David Dorr that are coming in, and the good doctor, I stole his question because he stole mine, number 6. He's a sports journalist, and I've expired, I'm aspiring to do these video podcasting and stuff like that as, the alternative type broadcasting stuff, with, Dorr and his Miracle on Ice, and Randy Character.
Well, he wrote, that's one of the articles he wrote.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
Class was his Miracle on Ice story.
Right. And then with Character's contribution to the St. Louis sports scene, like, what does it mean for guys like that aren't the athletes, but have watched the sports and studied the sports, and a guy like the good doctor here that could someday, who's writing for local papers here in St. Louis, like, what does it mean for people like that to have this opportunity and this privilege to get into this distinguished Hall of Fame?
Well, I think it's similar to the athletes. They've put in their time, done their research. Randy is one of a great radio personality. Has been one of our interviewers at most of our enshrinements. He does a great job with interviewing. So we're not just about we're about all things associated with sports. So it doesn't make any difference in which career field you chose in sports. If you've done a great job, you deserve to be honored for it.
Absolutely.
Hold on, good doctor, before you go. It's funny that you say that, Mr. Moore, it's about all sports, right? Well, the acronym for Fuel Sports Network is Fans United Experience Legion. This is about the fans. And, as the good doctor's book here is for the love of the show, is the love letter for fans. So I completely understand that, and I respect you for doing that for the guys who aren't playing the sports but are covering the stuff like this. Sure. And like those guys have done for journalism.
Well,
I commend you for that.
Dave Dorr has been around St. Louis sports for a long, long time.
Long time. Probably
most people don't know that he was inducted into the NBA Hall of Fame in the first class.
Yep.
So, he's, people would say, how could he not have been in already?
Right.
But there's so many people that have made the history of sports in St. Louis great that you can't get to them all at one time. And as I said, we try to make sure that for our events, we're not concentrated in one area. And, we have been running 2 enshrinement dinners a year since 2017. The one that we hold in February has had a little bit of an Illinois flavor to it, but there's a lot of great names, great athletes on the east side also.
Now, hold on, Jerry, because you brought up something, and I'm sorry, because it's interesting how I listen. You talk about the sports in general, and I'm trying to see it, but I can't. It's not wanting to open up for me for the inductees. But have you ever considered Larry Matisek from the great Wrestling at the Chase? Even though wrestling is not a sport,
Larry's in.
Oh, okay. See, I didn't know. That's why I was asking. I'm trying to look on the thing, and it's not opening up for me. Okay.
We did a great thing. We inducted Larry Matisek, Joe Garagiola's brother. I can't think of his name off the top of my head right now. And who was the great promoter for
Sam Muchnick?
Sam Muchnick. We inducted them all into the Hall of Fame at the Holiday Inn in Kirkwood, and we had 5 wrestling matches that night also. So it was kind of a reunion of all of the Wrestling at the Chase and all those kind of things, and it's interesting evening for sure.
Right. I didn't know. I was trying to pull it up, and it's not one to pull up on me. It just keeps spinning, so that's why I wanted to ask. All right, good doctor, go ahead.
Steven Jackson's one of the athletes going in this year. There's a lot of people who feel that he should be in Canton in the Hall of Fame for the NFL, but playing for some of these Rams teams in the past that were not very good, I think has probably hurt his chances. When he was with the Rams, I don't think people realized what a great ambassador of St. Louis that he really was, and he was one of those athletes that just went out there and played hard every game and never made excuses. He never got in trouble, and I just think to induct someone like that is really sending a great message, and it's really letting people know just how special of a player he was when we had him. And I don't think a lot of us realized it at that time.
Yeah. Well, that's, that happens a lot. You don't realize what you've had until it's gone.
Right.
And once they're gone, then you realize, boy, this guy was special. And I've had an opportunity to talk to Stephen a couple times about the event that's coming up. One of the first things he said to me that he's humbled that he's been selected. And unfortunately, I'm waiting to hear from him. He has a son who's a senior in high school who's an athlete also.
Okay.
And his son has an event, a game on September 6th, and Stephen's working hard to see if he can work travel arrangements out so that he can make both his son's game and the enshrinement. So he's supposed to let me know sometime this evening. So hopefully we're still going to be able to do it.
Here's a name that I see on here, not really known for his prowess on the ice, but in St. Louis, he is a very loved man. The great Kelly Chase.
Yep.
Like kind of an overlooked player in his hockey days, but you're putting him into the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame. Explain to people what made Kelly Chase so special to St. Louis and Blues fans? Because I'm not a Blues fan, but Kelly Chase was one of my favorite Blues players of all time. So tell people what it is about him that makes it special. For him to be
first
inducted.
of all, you're special because you're on a professional hockey team. That's
true.
Number one. Not everybody can be the star, and you got to have a lot of good role players to make your team great. And Kelly played as hard as anyone ever in a Blues uniform. And so not only that, but after he retired from the game, he has worked with the Gateway Locomotives group, promoting hockey for the youth of the area. And so, we take all that into consideration, not just what you did as participating in a sport, but what have you done after that sport that has impacted the St. Louis area?
Interesting. Okay, because we didn't kind of get to that part of the criteria of what you guys are looking for on that. Okay. I like that. I could see that. I could see how that works.
Yeah. And he's fighting a tough fight right now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we wish him the best and pray that things go well for him.
Yeah.
Ray Lankford is also on the list, and for me,
Yep.
that's going to be the highlight of the entire thing, because growing up, that was my guy. Growing up as a young Cardinal fan, Ray Lankford was my favorite player for years, probably until Albert Pujols came on the scene. But I've always loved Ray Lankford, and I've always wanted to get a jersey with his name and number on the back to wear around, because he was the one. It seemed like in them Cardinals teams of the 90s that, weren't always very good up until La Russa came into town. He was always a mainstay on those teams. And, I know he had career years the same time McGuire was here. And again, I thought those career years for Lankford kind of got overshadowed, of course, because you had McGuire hitting 70 and then the following year 500. So I love that Lankford's going into the Hall here in St. Louis. I think it's needed. I love that the Cardinals put him in their Hall. I hope that the guy gets the respect that he's due from a lot of fans. And I think Cardinal fans, they're smart enough to know that Ray Lankford is one of the more should be one of the more well-respected Cardinal players in our recent history.
Yeah, he's had a great career as the Cardinals. He came up with the Cardinals in '89, I think. His first full year was '90, and he just took off from right there. And towards the end of his career, he had a knee injury and had to move from center to left, I think. And he had a great year that year that he moved. Hit over 300. So he adapted to what was necessary for him to continue to play, and that's the mark of a great athlete.
Now, Tim, me and the good doctor were talking about this. There's a record that Ray Lankford holds in St. Louis history. Do you happen to know what that record is?
I do not.
It's the most home runs in Busch 2.
Oh,
yeah.
He has the most home runs in Busch, in second Busch, which is amazing with a lot of the players that had come through there.
Yeah.
And you look at this list here. What for you, with all the people that you've inducted and all of that, which one has been the most special for a Tim Moore, to where you were like, ooh, that one really got me, hit me in the heart, hit me in the emotions? For you, which person that's been inducted into the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame that has really got to you?
Well, I think definitely that we had an enshrinement in 2021, I think, and we inducted a lady named Jill Gomrick-Dalkey. And prior to the event happening, the enshrinement dinner happening, she was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer.
Oh.
And she had to quit her teaching job at Freeburg High School because of her treatments. Things were not looking good. And we take no credit for this, but it's just kind of how the ball rolled, that she was such a great interview at that event. And after the event, we've heard that she's doing well, and some people attribute a little bit the satisfaction of going into the Hall of Fame and her children seeing what she accomplished. That it made, we hope that it made a difference in her future.
I literally got goosebumps.
Yeah.
You telling that story.
Yeah.
I got a question, Spurge.
Do what?
I got a question.
Go for it.
Okay, so I've already mentioned Coach Ivy at Notre Dame, and I also noticed Rusty Lish is in the Hall of Fame, and I don't think a lot of people realize that he was one of the first football players to be listed as just an athlete when he was drafted by the Cardinals. Not a he played quarterback at Notre Dame and was famously replaced by Joe Montana, and I've known Rusty for several years when I covered Kevin and Teresa in high school at Althoff. Has there ever been a father-son or father-daughter, put in the Hall of Fame yet? Because I think that, the way Kevin and Teresa played their high school career and even in college, we may see that down the road. So has there ever been one of those yet?
Well, and don't forget Stephanie too.
Yeah, Stephanie. Yes.
Yeah. But the only one that I know of that I can think of right off the top of my head is the Schofields, Dick Schofield and his son. So
Okay.
Dick Ducky Schofield and Dick Schofield, we inducted them, and that's the only pair that I think we have. But you mentioned three people there. Certainly, Kevin played in Australia for a number of years, was on their Olympic team, played great over there. He's now back in St. Louis, by the way. And of course, Teresa was the Miss Basketball in Illinois her senior year. Stephanie scored over 2,200 points, I think, at her college career. So yeah, I mean, they're very worthy of going into the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame.
So it's amazing to sit here and listen to you, Mr. Moore. For some reason, I feel like I have to call you Mr. Moore. I can't feel like I gotta call you by your first name because you have that executive director right in front of your name. It's kind of intimidating.
It's only a name.
It's kind of intimidating. Just to hear that your love and your passion for this the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame, and how your friend Greg and how you still immortalize him with his memorial award that you guys do, and you guys announce that person the night of the show. Like, what was and I know we touched on it a little bit, but like, what was the process of coming up with the award for Greg? For the memorial award, like what did you like, and like what is the criteria for somebody to win that award?
Interesting question. We knew that when Greg passed away that we wanted some way for him to be remembered, and we considered one of the things that we considered was maybe college scholarship for a local athlete or athletes. That was one consideration. And then, that's hard to do. That's hard to organize when you're trying to choose one or two or three special athletes from an area as big as St. Louis. So we settled on the idea of just having a memorial award for him. And I don't have it in front of me right now. I wish I did, but we came up with a criteria that we thought Greg was part of Greg, and we tried to make the winner of that award somebody who emulated those characteristics.
Awesome.
Yeah. I
Awesome.
didn't mean to throw you off. It was just I'm looking at the website, going over it and stuff like that, and I'm just looking at it.
Well, you mentioned the word criteria,
Yeah.
and criteria for us has not been as well defined as it should be, and that's one of the things we're working on. And actually, we do have criteria for the award for Greg right now. I could pass it along to you sometime. I could
Please,
find it on
because
the
I'm
computer.
trying to get a criteria of how we run things here at Fuel, and I still can't figure it out. So if you could, please give me that criteria so I could figure it out. It would help me so much.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I'll do that.
Here's the other thing that I like about you guys. You're not really in this for the money. You guys are a 501c3 charity. So at the end of the year, I know because I've set Fuel up the same way because we've done events for Autism Speaks. We raised money in Houston for a local women's shelter there in Houston. You know, and in the year of us being as Fuel, we've raised like $12,000. So I know at the end of the year, you got to clear your books. So at the end of the year, when it comes to that, and you guys are that charity, how do you distribute who you're going to donate to or stuff like that? Or do you use that as your athletes' scholarships?
Well, it's been very difficult to raise money for the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame, as many 501c3s are finding now. And we have not contributed as much money to local groups as we would like. In fact, we should do more than we have been, but it's a struggle to keep the Hall of Fame alive from that standpoint. We have to put on our events, and then we have to meet our budget to run. And when you look at that budget at the end of the year, you know, how much money do you need in the kitty to be able to get into next year?
Exactly.
So we haven't been able to, and that's one of the reasons why we didn't do the scholarships, because we just didn't have the funds to do it. So
yeah, but no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say that's kind of a goal for us as we move forward, to do more events where we can just contribute that event money to needy groups.
See, even you saying that, because when I set Fuel up, is I wanted it to do good for the community. So for even you saying that and knowing that struggle, but you still have that passion, that love to keep this going, is what gives me hope and the desire to keep Fuel running. So thank you for that. I really do appreciate that. Now, with that being said, you have a big event September 5th coming up.
Yes.
Best thing about it, 5:00, you get the cocktails. Get to have a little bit of fun.
We should really change that to welcome reception instead.
Okay, so we'll change it right now. At 5:00, you have welcome reception. Right.
Yeah.
And then at 6:00, you got the dinner. 7:00, the whole program starts. Tell people where they can find you to get your tickets and all that stuff, because, hey, good doctor, that's my birthday weekend. So I'm thinking I might need to scrounge up some money for a table and we go and hang out at this thing, because it would be kind of cool.
Yeah, that'd be great.
But Mr. Moore, tell people where they can find this at and all of those good details.
Okay, well, I mentioned the website before, www.stlshof.com. You can go online there. You can, all the information about the event and the ability to purchase the tickets is on there. You can also go to Facebook or Twitter, and we have the same information on those. So people can look into the event there. But the main way to do it is really send everybody to the website and go from there. That QR code, you can click on it.
Well, here, let me pull it back up one more time for you.
Okay.
So you're talking this one right there.
Yes. That QR QR code right there. All you do is take a picture of it, and it'll give you the website where it goes, and then you register on that website. The purchaser of the tickets registers, and then you purchase your tickets right there.
And tickets went on sale June 17th. So they went on sale last Monday.
Yes.
Okay.
It's early.
It's still early. You got a couple months away, right?
So we like to get it out there and make it available for anybody who wants to buy early. We encourage people to do that. The downtown MAC will hold about 400 people for the dinner. And the sooner you buy them, the more you can ensure that you're going to have a seat at the event.
Well, here's what I can tell you at Fuel Sports Network and For the Love of the Show. I'm going to post a link of this onto our Facebook, onto our website,
Awesome.
all of that stuff for you, because I think this is a great event. And good doctor, just to let you know, my birthday is on the 9th, right?
Yeah.
This is on a Thursday. That'd be a really good birthday present for you to get me a table of 10.
I believe the Chiefs open that night.
Well, I, to be honest, I could care less about the Chiefs. Am I right,
know.
Mr. Moore? We could care less about the Chiefs.
Yeah.
We need to go support the St. Louis
What about
Sports
the
Hall of
Chiefs?
Fame.
Who are they?
Right,
Who are they?
exactly. Exactly. Alrighty, sir. I got nothing else. It was an honor and a privilege to meet you. Thank you so much. Good doctor, do you got anything left?
No, I appreciate you coming on, Mr. Moore. It's been great, and I wish you all the success with this event. I think it's a great event, and I'll certainly put the word out as much as I can as well.
Thank you very much for interviewing me here. That always helps us out. Publicity is always good, and I enjoyed talking with you guys. Thank you very much.
Wow,
Thank you.
Mr. Moore, I got to tell you, that is the first time I've ever heard anybody say that they enjoy talking to me. The first time in all of my interviews.
I doubt that.
I have to say, I am absolutely pleased. Hey, guys, this is For the Love of the Show. I am one of your hosts. Spurge, right over there is the man who inspired this book, the author of For the Love of the Show, the one and the only.
The Good Doctor.
And right below us is the great, I'm going to say it, Mr. Tim Moore, the executive director of the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame. Please go to their website at stlsho.com.
HOF.
Check it out.
HOF.
That's right. Check it out. Mr. Moore, thank you so much. It was an honor, sir.
Guys.
All right. With that being said, we will see you guys next week with another episode of For the Love of the Show.